is up, everybody? Welcome to Titanium Tuesdays on Propelio TV. I'm your host, RJ Bates. Today I'm sitting down with Ashton Richardson. How you doing?
Hi, good.
So today we're going to talk about door knocking. Ashton is known around the DFW Metroplex as the door knocking queen, which is impressive to me because this is not like a title you gave yourself.
No, it's
like
not.
Actually other people told me this, not you.
Yeah.
So once I found out that we actually had somebody that specializes in door knocking, we felt like this would be a great opportunity to bring somebody in and talk about a form of marketing that's really not discussed or talked about enough, I feel like, in the real estate industry. So let's just jump into it and tell us, how did you get your start and why did you choose door knocking as your preferred method of marketing?
You mean how I got my start in real estate in general?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I actually didn't have any interest in it. My husband actually came up to me and was like, hey, I really want to do, oh, he was my boyfriend at the time, but now husband. He's like, I really want to do real estate investing. Let's go to this seminar. And I was like, okay, okay, we'll go.
Right.
See what it is. So we went to the seminar. We just looked at each other, it clicked, and we were like, let's do this.
Awesome.
It's something that we really wanted to do.
How long ago was that?
A year and a half ago.
Okay. And so when you went to the seminar, was it like one of those weekend seminars?
It was,
full blown, like, hey, you got to sell like a left kidney to be a part of this?
Yes, yeah. We had to put, and at the time we didn't have the money to join the program. So we put everything on credit cards, and we were like, okay, we got to do this. So if we really want, this isn't something that we're just going to do passively. It has to be all in or nothing.
Yeah, I think that's something that really I haven't shared enough as far as my personal story goes, but we did the exact same thing. We went to one of the weekend seminars, and then it was like, everything was free, and then they gave you like one little tip, and then it was like, come back for like $2,000, we'll give you everything. And then we paid the $2,000. And then it was like super pumped. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna learn everything. And then it was like, they gave us a little bit more. And then it was like, okay, go to the back of the room. Here's all these sites you can apply for credit cards. Like, now we're gonna bamboozle you with the big, it was like, I think there was like 3 different levels. It was like 30,000, 50,000, and like 100,000 or something. And but we went through the whole program, and looking back at it, I'm so thankful that we did it because it got us to here. But I still wish we wouldn't have spent that much money because of now realizing there's things like Propelio, Bigger Pockets, Flip Nerd, so many. Just YouTube alone, I mean, there's so much information out there. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yes, I do. I feel like your network is key, really, just networking. And because really, I mean, the network that we joined, it did have a good training program. It did get me into door knocking. It gave me my script that I use.
There you go.
So that was a huge benefit, but definitely it gave access to all of our private money, which is key. And you have to find private money, and so I mean, the training was good. So
now you guys, what strategies do y'all do in real estate?
We do, we do wholesaling, fix and flips. We do owner financing and rentals.
So you, in a year and a half, you kind of learned how to do everything.
Yes.
What do you think y'all are the best at?
The best at?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you prefer to wholesale? Is like owner financing like y'all's dream? Because it's passive income. We want
long-term wealth, so passive income. In the future, we want to pick up more rental properties in the high appreciating areas, so the inner cities. And owner finances, we like to do owner finances as well.
Gotcha.
That gives us passive monthly income, and we get a spread whenever they sell the house.
Plus, you don't get any of those maintenance calls. Or,
those
are the best part about owner financing. So let's dive into like your specialty, door knocking. So when you went to the education program, they gave you a script, but was door knocking like the main form of marketing that they taught you guys, or was that just something that clicked for you?
No, they actually encouraged, well, I mean, they did talk about door knocking, of course, but they encouraged doing mailers, direct mail.
Yep.
which we were like, okay, so they told us to do direct mail. We spent like the first month, we spent $7,000 in direct mail, didn't get anything off it. I think that was mainly because we were new, and looking back, we could have made deals out of the people that did call us.
Right.
So, so we spent all that money and nothing came of it. I do door knocking because it's the most cost efficient. I only spent about $500 in gas a month, and it's also, you know, you just do you just have paper and ink.
Right.
And it's just the most cost efficient. I get the best deals because I only door knock the pre-foreclosure list. So for the people who are wondering, only pre-foreclosure list.
Gotcha.
So it's the people who need to sell now, the best discount, and it's the most cost efficient.
So you pull the pre-foreclosure list. Do you kind of, before you go out, do you map out the houses and like your route, or do you kind of just?
Yeah, I use Batch Geo. It's an app. Have you ever used that before? Okay, so it pinpoints where the houses are, and I just click on it. It'll take you right there.
So okay, you get your pre-foreclosure list. You use Batch Geo to get your route.
Yes.
When you go out, are you going out by yourself, or you bring in bird dogs or people with you, or is it just kind of you're by yourself and I'm going to hit this list?
Well, I mainly go out by myself, but I am looking to train bird dogs. So, so if people are interested in door knocking, we usually look for people who are green, who don't know what they're doing, or have very little experience. Because if you know all the strategies, there's really no, there's no point. There's no added value, really, I guess.
Right.
So
once you go out and you door knock, what is, I have door knocked as like a roofing salesman. And I know that was super hard, but I also found it to be, it's easy when it's like clear and obvious that the roof is damaged. And so I'm like, your roof's damaged and I can solve that problem for you. How are you going to them and saying, hi, I know you haven't paid your mortgage and you're about to lose your home and I can solve that for you? How do you kind of explain that and soften that blow to them?
Yes, it is a very, very sensitive subject. So my script that I use is, hi, my name's Ashton Richardson. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this house is on the list of houses going to foreclosure on February 5th.
Well, how about you say, I'm not sure if you're aware. I guess it could be a rental property. And they don't know.
I've had to, unfortunately, tell wives before, husbands. Well, my wife was supposed to be paying the bills. And so some people don't know. Towards the end of the month, I don't say that. I just jump into, I specialize in helping people stop foreclosures. Has anyone talked to you about your options? Because at that time, they've received enough letters, and I'm sure they've had other door knockers, so they know. So
how, on a typical situation, is that usually greeted with like, oh, thank you so much, I'm interested, or is it kind of 50-50 where it's like slam the door, or what's the response there typically?
Most of them have it figured out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, figured out, yeah.
Like they have some kind of plan in place.
Yeah, they do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so whenever they say, oh, I've taken care of it, I always ask them, well, what did you do to take care of it? Some people don't like that, that I'm very forward, but
you almost have to be kind of pushy in that situation.
Yeah, because they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
So, and then I can get a better understanding of if they really have taken care of it or if they haven't, so.
What is your goal when you knock on the door and you give your spiel? Is your goal to be able to get inside the house and look at it and talk to them right then and there, or to schedule an appointment and come back?
If they're willing to talk to me right there, I will.
Gotcha.
But that's only happened, I've been door knocking a year and a half now, and that's only happened maybe 2 or 3 times.
So most of the time they'll like come back and.
Yeah, most of them, they're I guess they want to clean up the house, or they like to set an appointment.
Gotcha. So not to put you completely on the spot, but I'm just like, this is how like my brain works. Yeah. Have you ever thought about like showing up to the house and saying, hey, I'm willing to offer you X amount of dollars right now, like right there on the doorstep? That'd be, that would be like super aggressive, but it could potentially work,
Yeah.
Because we don't door knock per se like on a regular basis, but there have been times before where either if I have like I had like an hour to kill in Fort Worth one day, and my partner from Hawaii was here, and I was like, hey, let's just go driving for dollars. And both me and him are super aggressive, so we were like, we'll get out the car and we'll go door knock, and I'll make an offer right then and there. And that's where something like Propelio can really help you, because what we were doing was we were using the Driving for Dollars app, which gave us a phone number. We would call them. If they didn't answer and we could tell somebody was home, we would just pull the CMA on Propelio right then and there, and then just base the repairs off of what we could see, and then use like a price per square foot for the repairs. And so we were just going up and being like, it didn't work, but I mean, it was interesting to see some of their faces. Like some of the elderly people kind of opened the door and were like, how can I help you? And we're like, we're interested in buying your property. We're buying this neighborhood. We're willing to give you $50,000 for your house. And they were like, you know, like this wide eyes, like, what just happened, you know? But we also weren't hitting pre-foreclosure. So these were just people that the houses looked distressed. So when you're out and you're hitting the pre-foreclosures list, are you also looking for houses that are boarded up, tall grass, things like that, or are you just hitting the pre-foreclosures?
Yes. Yeah, I have an app that I use that will take a picture. You just take a picture of the house, it pulls up the owner, and it automatically sends out mail.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that?
I think it's called Deal Machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know Investor Fuse has like that built in their Podio CRM system as well. That's like brand new, where you can just type in the address and it sends out the mail. I've never used anything like that. I try to stay away from things that are automated like that, just because sometimes it doesn't work as well as it's sold to you that it will work. So okay, you go, you door knock, you get an appointment. When you go back to the appointment, at that point in time, are you kind of prepared? That's the moment of truth where you're going to try to get the contract signed, right?
Right, yes.
So when you're going in, do you already have like, what do you have prepared for that appointment?
Well, I have the comps ran. I find out, before I set the appointment, I like to find out what the payoff is, what the reinstatement is, you know, how far along are they behind, what their current monthly mortgage payment is, have they ever done a loan mod, how long have they stayed in the house for. So those are the main questions. I have to find out, are you married? Because I've gone on so many appointments where you know, you get to the appointment, they're like, oh, I'm married, my other half isn't here, and that gives them an excuse of not signing the contract right then and there. So I try to avoid
It's crazy that you learn all these things as you go along of how people can stall the process.
Oh my gosh,
You know, and you would think it would be the opposite. You know, like if you're in a need and you're going to lose your house, that they would want to speed it up, but it's almost the opposite. They try to slow it down as much as they can. So a lot of those questions are really good ones to ask. We had Nicole Espinoza on here previously, and she specializes in short sales. And she talked a lot about asking those questions about, you know, making sure you know what the payoff is and what the reinstatement amount is, making sure that if they're divorced or if they're married, things like this that can make, you know, huge impacts. Looks like we got a question from Kelly Smith. Do you tell someone where you are going or have a tracking location app so someone knows you're safe? So this, I think this is probably going to be like, all of the women are going to want to ask this about door knocking. You know? What do you do as far as safety measures for yourself?
No, I don't have any. Well, I mean, I guess my husband could look me up if he wanted to, because he knows my iTunes password, and you can locate, you know, you locate someone through that. But I don't have. I mean, I have pepper spray in my purse, which I actually just got. My sister got that for me for Christmas because she was like, "You need this." But I don't carry. I've been doing this for 1.5 years, like I said, and I've never felt threatened. People will be way more mean over the phone than they will ever be in person. So I've never felt like I needed
What's the one line you get the most, you said before we came on here? You said,
what was it?
People were like, oh, I love Texas women. It's like,
I do have men hit on me, but.
So Lynette Jones says, I plan to door knock this weekend, but have been terrified. So many crazies out there. Well, proof's in the pudding right here. You know, I mean, I think a lot of that, yes, there needs to be safety measures taken and protect yourself. But in the end, you know, back in the day, Cassie and I went door knocking a lot. Majority of the time I had Cassie do the door knocking. And our theory is it's a lot easier to talk to a woman than a man you know, about some of this stuff. And Cassie specializes in like being very empathetic and with the sellers. Is that something you kind of also take into consideration when you're talking to them about,
Yes.
you know, being cognizant of their situation?
Yes.
Whereas for me, I am almost too straightforward and to the point. So it'd almost be like, look, I can help you.
Yes.
Like, let's just sit down. I wouldn't want to schedule an appointment. That would almost drive me crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I would just be like, this is our moment right here. Like, let's fix your problem right now.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see that that's like what is that something you did on purpose or because the sellers almost always wanted that?
Just because the sellers want that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, if they're willing to talk to me right then and there, I will. I'll call my assistant, say, hey, run these comps for me real quick, and so I can give them an offer.
Gotcha. And then if that's the case, how do you calculate rehab costs for yourself? Like, I'm assuming you don't have a contracting background.
No, I don't.
And you've been doing this for a year and a half. So what do you use or how do you calculate rehab? Is it just now kind of coming from experience from doing this, or do you have like a price per square foot, or how do you do that?
Price per square foot.
Yeah.
So if it's just paint carpet, $5. If it's like just cosmetic, $10. If it's
You also have
full
a partner,
rehab
your husband, right?
Yes.
And this is where I think you kind of asked me if he could come on the show to talk about some of that, but that's where he kind of comes in and helps you in that process.
Actually,
as well,
my
right?
GC does. So
Okay.
it's a couple. Their names are Josh and Karen. They just moved here from California actually to work with us.
Gotcha.
So California was a rough market, so they decided to move here, and
Right.
we were taken off. So I actually have him on. I try to have him come on the appointment if I feel like if I feel like I need him.
Right.
Because that way he can help me negotiate the price with the seller too.
Right.
So
It's always good to have that voice of reason right there. And
Yes.
it's almost like not completely an unbiased opinion, but I mean, to a certain degree he is, because he's a third party and he's saying, hey, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller, this is what I need to do the work.
Yes.
You know, and then that's kind of where you can take it off and, you know, negotiate it from there moving forward.
Yes.
So guys, we're talking about door knocking today. We got Ashton Richardson. She's the not self-proclaimed. Other people actually have proclaimed her as the door knocking queen. So please drop any questions that you have about door knocking. I think this is definitely a form of marketing that is not discussed enough in real estate investing, because frankly, I think a lot of people have just gotten lazy. You know, I mean, there's so many ways that you could do things now without even leaving your office, and you just kind of wait. And you're
Yes.
actually going out there and making it happen.
Yes.
Jeremiah said EDC. What is your everyday carry? Is that what that means?
That's what EDC means. It's usually like a gun and a knife and this and that, but for door knocking.
Door knocking. Well, her everyday carry is pepper spray. And really, I think that's kind of just open to.
Let her answer.
She already did.
Oh.
So, anyways, drop your questions in there. We'd love to, you know, open up the conversation for Ashton to kind of answer these for you. When you get a property under contract, how are you, since y'all are doing so many different strategies, how are y'all how do you make the determination of what you want to do with the property?
That's where my husband comes into play. He has a MBA and a master's degree in accounting. So I'm not like numbers person at all. Like
Gotcha.
I'm purely sales. My background's always been in sales. He's accounting, so we're a perfect couple together.
Right.
Business partners. And so it really depends on where we're at financially, how much, if it'll make us a lot more if we fix and flip it rather than wholesale it, we will fix and flip it. So we try, and then it also depends on where we're at. It really just, where we're at financially.
Right.
Where the property is located, if you know, it depends on where it's at, if it's better for a owner finance or a rental property.
It's funny.
So it
When
just
we
depends.
first got started, I used to always be afraid to tell my buyers when they would ask me like, well, why are you wholesaling this one instead of doing it yourself? I used to come up with, oh, we have too many going on. Now at this point, I'm like, I need the money, bro.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I need some quick cash.
Yeah.
So Lynette Jones says, how do you find out the actual payoff/reinstatement and payment? Do you contact the mortgage company, or is there a place where that is public info?
Well, I have the homeowner contact the mortgage company.
Right.
If they don't know, usually, I mean, I try to get an estimated number. They usually don't know the exact number, and you usually have to wait 3 to 5 days, depending on the bank, to get an actual payoff and reinstatement. So I say, hey, can you give me an estimate on how much you're behind? And then if they don't know the reinstatement, I'll ask them what their current mortgage payment is and how many months they've missed.
Yes.
So we can calculate that.
And it's also very important that you don't have them just hand you a statement and you take that as fact.
Right.
Because a lot of times that does not include some of the late fees or whatever the reinstatement amount is, and it can be very misleading. Do y'all ever try to do subject twos, or is that
all the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
that made you smile, so that's
Yeah.
obviously something y'all like to do.
Uh-huh.
Is that kind of a situation where you just want to reinstate it and take it over at that point?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And for me, that's probably, I was just thinking about it last night when I was thinking about this episode, and I was like, I wonder if they do subject twos, because I mean, that is,
it's
for me,
desirable.
it's one of the best.
Yeah, it's desirable for buyers. It's desirable for owner financing, rentals, even fix and flips, because you don't have to pay as much as private money lending.
Yep. So Brian says, door knocking on pre-foreclosures is also a different response that you get than a random house that you stop on. They need the help, and 70% of the time they know it. Do you kind of feel that way as well? Is that why y'all have chosen the pre-foreclosures?
Yes, well, we just get them at the best discount, so it's a very rewarding job. So what our company does is I go over all their options. So even if they are wanting to sell, which I ideally, obviously, we would like them to sell, but we want them to make the best decision for them. So we go over all their options. So we go over, we have to. That's also why I like to set an appointment, so I can find out where they're at financially. Have they just lost their job, and they can make the monthly payments going forward? Do they have the money to reinstate? And do they have the monthly payments to go forward? Because if they do, we can help them.
Right.
So we've gone on appointments, and where they were at financially, we directed them in the right way to go, even though it wasn't selling to us.
Right.
So that's what we like to do. I feel like it all comes around. All we ask is if you have a friend in the same situation, please just refer us. So we haven't yet had a referral yet, but I'm sure it'll come down the line.
It's also important to understand their full story and what their needs are.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
times where they could be in pre-foreclosure, but have the means to get out of it.
Yes.
But the reason why they're in pre-foreclosure is because they have some underlying issue, whether it's, hey, they needed to move because of jobs, or one person's injured and can't work. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that pop up.
Yes.
And that's where it's very important to ask those questions and find out, what do you actually need?
Right.
Because a subject to could be the best route if they just get $5,000 or $10,000 in their pocket.
Yes.
Matt Smith says, how many doors do you knock per day?
15 to 20. If I can do more, I'll do more. But generally, I door knock 8 hours a day, and I get to about 15 to 20.
Gotcha. So that, to me, I guess leads me to believe that they're pretty far apart. You're not really super close.
Yes. And we also scrubbed a list. I don't hit every single list, so they have to at least have 10% equity in it, because in the beginning I was wasting a lot of my time going on all these short sales or reverse mortgages, and I couldn't. I can refer them to somebody who does. We have a friend now who does short sales, so I just refer them to her, and we get some money down the line. But it's not worth my time to door knock them.
Right. So I think we had another question there from Katie Apperson. I think we're going to get to that one right now. Yes, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. Sorry, my bad, Mr. Ryan Harper. Katie Apperson says, do you create lists of doors you want to knock? And if so, what's your favorite and your least favorite list?
Well, I only door knock pre-foreclosures.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, if I'm out there every day knocking on doors, they have to sell now, and they have to sell at a discount. So it's worth my time.
All right, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break. Keep coming with the questions. We love that part of it, and we'll be right back after these messages. guys, welcome back to Titanium Tuesdays on Propelio TV. I'm sitting down with Ashton Richardson today, the door knocking queen. We're answering everybody's questions, going through what lists she uses, how she actually gets out, how many doors a day she gets to knock on. So really getting some good content out there. Just jumping right back into some of the questions that we have. Looks like we've got a question from Jeremiah. Jeremiah says, you can also get the information from the county clerk and figure out the mortgage payment. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, I mean, it does on whenever we purchase a list from FLS online.
Okay.
So it does show us well, does it show us? I don't think it does show us the monthly mortgage payment. I don't know about that.
I've never personally done that, but that's interesting. Thanks for the tip there.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I mean, I'd love to check that out and see if that actually works. Laura says, do you have a way of mapping out stops from your lead list? So I think.
Well, with the Batch Geo, yes. Yeah, I use an app called Batch Geo, and you go online and upload the spreadsheet, and that will, and then you have an app on your phone. It emails it to you as well, so you can just.
It kind of maps it out, right?
Yeah, it just has like a bunch of like pinpoints, and then you
Right.
can click on the house, and it uploads all the information.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dustin says, how do you take care of any liens against a property before closing, or are they getting paid at closing?
Well, we have to open up title before we
Right.
close.
Yeah.
So if there's major liens on the property that doesn't make sense, that's why you have an option period.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, definitely make sure that anything that you're doing runs through a title company. All the liens then are found, discussed, negotiated, whatever needs to happen there. It's very important that you handle it that way. Looks like we've got a question from Jimmy. Jimmy says, do you charge a fee for service if you help them reinstate since you're not getting the property? Well, the only way you would pay for it to be reinstated is if you're going to do something like a subject to.
Right.
I think he's referring if he helps, if like, because you know there's like so many options to help the people, and then if you help them, like, where's my, I scratch your back, where are you gonna scratch my back, type of thing.
So yeah, let's go into
Okay.
that real quick because I want to make sure everybody clearly understands this. Lay out an example of options that you give a seller.
So, well, ideally they would like to reinstate the loan, so you ask them if they have a 401k or any savings or any way that they can get the money to reinstate the loan.
Right.
You can do, there's a loan mod, bankruptcy. You can, depending on the condition of the home. I'm also a realtor, so I can delay the foreclosure and put the house on the market for them. That will put more money on their pocket, but the house has to be in decent condition.
Right.
And then there's also the all cash offer or the loan assumption.
Right.
So I give them all those options.
Right. And it's very important that you understand that in all of those situations, she's never personally putting money into the property unless she is taking control of the property.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I want to make sure that's clear there because I think in that question, he was assuming you were kind of helping them out
No.
as
No.
a lender of sorts or anything like that. That's not happening. Andrew Webb says, what is your average conversion rate, deals per doors knocked?
So I was just going over this with my husband earlier because he's the numbers guy, and I'm like, I know they're going to ask this question.
Right.
So on average, I have to talk to about 10 people to get a deal.
Okay.
So just by them answering the door, whether they tell me no, yell at me, or we set the appointment. So
You have to talk to them.
I have to talk to them.
Not 10 doors knocked, but
Right.
actually
Yeah, I
they
wish.
talk. Yeah, right.
I'd be really well off if that were the case.
Do you count like a F you, get out of the way as a talk?
What?
Do you count like an F you, get out of my house as a talk?
FU.
Right, like they don't want to talk to you, just get out of here.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So 10 doors opened.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, actually, that seems like it's not that bad.
That seems really good.
But
So I have to talk to about 30 people to actually get a deal.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So okay,
That goes through.
let's when you are, I completely forgot my question. You threw me off.
Sorry.
Conversion.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess my point is, when you are out and you're door knocking, how often do they actually open the door? I guess is the best way to put it. Like, you said you're hitting like how many a day?
About 15 to 20.
So how often in
least.
those 15 to 20 are they actually opening the door?
2 to 3.
Yeah.
Because I go, I mean, during the day, whenever I first started door knocking, I like to go from 5 to 8 because it was summertime and I was like, they're not going to be home during the day. But then when wintertime came around and it got dark at 6, I was like, well, you know, we're not going to do very well if I'm only door knocking an hour a day.
Right.
So that's when I started to really go all day. And, you know, these people a lot of them are home. So the people that you find home during the day are good leads because they've lost their jobs, something's happened.
That's what I was going to say. I mean,
Yeah.
there is an underlying issue as to why they are in pre-foreclosure.
Yes.
And a lot of times that could be because they lost their job.
Right.
And we kind of went through the same thing. We prefer cold calling. And there for a while, it was like, okay, we're only going to cold call from like 4 to 7 or 5 to 8 or something like that. And then we started cold calling during the daytime hours, and we realized, hey, these people are actually picking the phone up because they're not at work.
Yes.
Lynette Jones says, I know this live is about door knocking, but I'm curious if you do any other form of marketing or reaching out to people.
So I've done cold calling. We've done direct mail. We've done bandit signs. We've pretty much tried it all. Door knocking is just what has worked best for us. We know other people who have had really a lot of success, and others like the Odd Brothers, they're bandit signs.
Yep.
And now we are launching our website, so we're doing the Google AdWords. So we are starting that as well. So hopefully that'll help. But we just started it last month. So you typically have to try something for about 6 months to see if it actually pans out.
And it's funny you bring that up because consistency is so key to any form of marketing. And so often people just give up on it, you know, where it's like, hey, it didn't work.
Right.
I mean, a good example of that is like when you first got started with the direct mail. You said you spent $7,000, and at that point in time, $7,000 essentially lost because you weren't converting, felt huge. But at the end of the day, I mean, direct mail is time and time again proven to be successful.
Yes.
And at times, what investors need to understand is maybe it's not the marketing that's not working. Maybe it's your systems on the back end being prepared for it. Because door knocking is completely different than direct mail. You know, you send out a load of direct mail, it's just a wave and influx of calls, and you have to be prepared for that.
Yes.
Whereas yours more like, we have an appointment, we come in, we're prepared, we know exactly what we're going to do. You have all these different options. So it's just how you prepare your business and stay consistent with those marketing.
Yes.
Keep coming with the questions. Love to get everybody's answer today. Andrew Webb says, best time of day, and does the day of the week matter on what days you're door knocking?
Saturday and Sundays are the best day to go.
Okay.
But Saturdays and Sundays are the best day to go because people are home.
Right.
More people are home.
It's funny you say Sundays because I think a lot of times people they choose not to work on Sundays.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's because, you know, Sunday's the day of rest.
Yeah.
But it is a great day to get out there because so many people are using it as a day of rest. And, and they are at home and relaxing with their family. And I know it's kind of a touchy subject, but where it's like, you know, am I imposing on their family time? Do you ever kind of get feedback from them where it's like, hey, I really don't want to deal with this on a Sunday?
No, I haven't.
That's interesting. So Lynette Jones says, I thought if you put the property under contract, it could stop the foreclosure, but not list it on the MLS. So how does listing it stop the foreclosure?
Well, we have ways. What we do is we file a fake bankruptcy, and that will stop the foreclosure. And then I can put the house on the market, and we. Gotcha.
So there's definitely ways to have it done. I am not a licensed realtor, so I don't know how any of that works. I just listen to the trained individuals there. Did you get your real estate license before you got into real estate investing, or was that because you were in investing, that's when you decided to get your license?
I actually got it before. So I I really wanted to be a realtor, and at that time everybody else did. So unless you had like a ton of money to spend in marketing,
Or a really big family.
or knew a lot of people that were needing to sell or buy houses, which I didn't at the time. So
Right.
I tried the realtor thing, and then my husband was like, all right, it's time for you to get a job. So my background is in sales. I was a sales rep for Xerox, and I was a sales rep for a water purifier company
Gotcha.
before. So I'm used to the door knocking, knocking. I would do business to business.
Gotcha. So Andrea says, what do you usually wear? And what do you say when they ask for credentials? I probably missed it, but what is your intro for tax delinquent properties?
I don't have an intro for tax delinquent. I just use that.
Yeah, she only door knocks
Yeah.
on pre-foreclosure lists. I'm gonna throw that out there. But what do you usually wear?
I usually wear something that looks business professional. You don't want to look overdressed, but you also don't want to look underdressed. You don't want to go in tennis shoes and
Right.
a t-shirt. In summertime, I usually wear a cute dress. Probably something like this length. I don't wear heels when I'm door knocking, but that would probably hurt my feet.
Right.
And in wintertime, I do wear little boots with a little heel on it, just to look professional. You don't want to look overdressed.
Basically,
but not
what she said
underdressed.
is you don't want to dress anything like me every single day. So, but that is interesting though, that you feel like showing up business casual, professional, is important.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of putting myself in your shoes, like when it's 100 degrees in the summer.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I wear dresses a
Right,
lot, because
yeah.
it gets so hot.
Yeah.
I can't wear pants. No.
So let's see, we got a question from David. How did you get that $1 million flip you posted up via door knocking?
Door knocking.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was an ex-Mavs player.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Can you name drop?
I don't want to do that to him.
Oh, okay.
I want to protect his privacy.
There you
I
go.
don't want to embarrass him. But
I gotcha.
he was a Mavs player, and he got injured. He couldn't play anymore, so he got behind. He actually called me 2 days before the
Wow.
auction date. Yeah.
And so did y'all actually flip it, or did you?
It's on the market right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did you have to do quite a bit of rehab on that?
It wasn't too much. I think we spent $50,000. It was a
that's not bad.
7,000 square foot house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad. It wasn't that old. The house isn't that old, and he didn't take care of it as well as he probably should have. I think all the neighbors, it's funny because all the neighbors were so happy that he left because of all the crazy parties he would throw. But yeah, it's just.
When you door knock and they don't answer, do you leave something?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it like a door hanger?
Yeah, it looks like it's not a handwritten. Well, I write it, but make copies of it.
Gotcha.
So.
Ryan Harper, do you subscribe to the work wife / work husband mindset, basically having a partner in door knocking?
Well, actually, Samuel doesn't go with me door knocking. He's
Yeah?
too afraid. Yeah, it's
He's
funny.
too afraid.
He did it. It's funny because he did it. What was it on Saturday? He was delivering flyers.
Yeah.
So he won't actually knock on the door, but he'll go out and deliver flyers. But he called me and he's like, "You're gonna be so proud of me." He's like, "I actually door knocked
Oh, wow.
and talked to the person."
Does he go with you on the appointments?
If he can,
Yeah.
yes. I like him there, especially if it's a man. If it's a man that I'm negotiating with, I like to have a man there because he's with his numbers. He's so analytical, and he's with his background in accounting. I don't want to say I don't want to say women aren't
Right.
but men like to negotiate with men and
So
women.
it's funny you say that because I felt like I was always better negotiating with a woman.
Oh, really?
And Cassie's always better negotiating with a man.
Okay.
Until it gets down to the numbers aspect.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
I feel like I'm actually usually the better one to rapid fire the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's kind of the way I put it. And
Yeah.
then Cassie kind of breaks it down for them.
Yes.
Like the sympathetic,
Yes.
here's what he means. I know he can be very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're only giving you $50,000, but let me explain why. And that's kind of how we broke it down. But I also think that there's a a lot of intuition on reading your audience and making sure like their body language and how they're responding to you is very important during those appointments. So just something for everybody to think about when they're in these situations. Real quick, do we have any more questions up there, Ryan?
Not at the moment. No
more questions. We'd love for you guys to drop some more in there. We're talking to Ashton Richardson about door knocking and how that is their preferred method of marketing. If you like what you're listening to today, please give us a like, comment, even share in some groups. I know we have a bunch of people that are watching that have their own groups or members of groups. Please drop them in the groups. That helps us out and get in front of more audience. Also, real quick, I want to go ahead and plug the company that puts all this together for us, Propelio. If you're watching this and you're an investor in any major Texas market or Phoenix, Arizona, Chicago, St. Louis, Miami, and you don't know what Propelio is, you're missing out. I don't quite frankly know how you're watching this if you don't know what Propelio is, but you need to check it out because they help with MLS comps, lead lists. They can help you out with creating your list to go door knocking. So if you like what Ashton has taught us today about door knocking, Propelio list could be a great resource for you. And please give Propelio a like and subscribe to these videos. They're putting out content every day of the week, sometimes multiple days throughout the week. So real quick, I think we're going to jump to another break. When we come back from commercial, we'll answer a couple more questions with Ashton, and then we'll have final thoughts. Guys, welcome back to Titanium Tuesdays on Propelio TV. Sitting down with Ashton Richardson. We're discussing all things door knocking. We got a couple more minutes to be with you guys this morning, and you know, for everybody that's listening, just kind of to recap, because I think we've had some people join us since we started. So to recap, why is door knocking your preferred method of marketing compared to all the other what I would consider lazier ways of marketing?
Because it is the most cost efficient. I only spend about $500 a month in gas money, and then you have to pay for the flyers and the ink, and as long as you have a printer. And it is, you get the best deals, you get them at the best discount, and it also feels really good to help people. So a lot of these people, you know, you think they'd be mad about their situation, but the people that we do help are so grateful that we helped them.
That's awesome.
You know, and some investors, it also surprised me that some investors don't know about the loan assumption, because I've talked to several sellers where they're like, well, nobody can help me. And I'm like, why? You know, I set the appointment, got them, you know, found out more why.
Right.
They just gave them an all-cash offer, and they're like, that's not going to cover the payoff amount.
Right.
So I was able to.
That's clearly because they don't know what the Propelio Academy is, and they have not educated themselves.
Yes.
Brian says, do you target homes with a certain price point, or is it just anything that's on your list?
Well, we were doing all the way up to $1 million. However, since the market is softening, we're sticking to 500 and below.
Okay. And
that was a nugget right there.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Actually, the golden nugget of this episode is my Propelio plug. that was.
Can we restate what she just said, though?
Yes, say that one more time. So
I said that the market is softening, so we are only marketing to or knocking on doors that are their price point is 500,000 and below.
And that's the ARV is 500.
ARV is 500,000.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. You know, as far as you feeling like the market is kind of softening a little bit, when did you feel like that was coming, or when did you feel like that actually has started? When did y'all make that change in your company?
Just within the last few months, really.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to soften.
I think everybody kind of feels it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because we are feeling it as investors.
Mm-hmm.
Sellers, not quite yet.
Yes.
You know, are you feeling that in your negotiations? How often do you feel like you're competing with another investor?
Oh, all the time.
So
yeah.
Are you competing with other forms of marketing though? Like, hey, I know you door knock, but I've got 5,000 postcards over here. Is that what you're competing
yeah.
with?
Yeah, but the people that I connect with through door knocking like the fact that I came to the door and I didn't send them a letter. They're like, I've received, I mean, they'll show me their stack of letters that are, so I mean, they're crazy amount.
Right.
And they like the fact that I knocked on the door and actually made a connection with them.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think so often people actually think door knocking is more like intrusive. And so
Yeah.
it would be like, you know, a couple of questions we've asked today, like how often do you get the F you and slam the door in your face? But it sounds to me like they're almost grateful that you've gone to those efforts
Yes.
to show up. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Andrew Webb says, what is the most common objection you hear and how do you counter?
I've paid it. And I'm like, okay, I just give them my flyer. I'm like, well, if anything changes, just give me a call.
Right.
So, you know, if they say they're filing bankruptcy, if they're saying they've done a loan mod, there are objections that I can say to that. But if they've said, the most common is I've paid it.
Gotcha. So one of the most common like phrases by real estate investors is that the gold is in the follow-up.
Oh, yeah.
How do you follow up with door knocking? Do you knock on the door multiple times if they
Yes.
don't answer?
Yeah, I go, well, I mean, because there's only so many houses on the list. So, and I door knock, you know, 8 hours a day, 25 days out of the month. So I hit the houses several times. I'll get calls, you know, stop leaving your marketing, like stop
Right.
leaving your flyers behind.
Right.
This house is not for sale, you know. So, I mean, I do get those.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Brian says, by the way, thank you both for time. Great show. Thanks, Brian.
Thank
Appreciate the
you.
feedback. Give us a share, man. Andrew Webb says, do you speak Spanish? If not, how do you handle the language barrier? He just ran into this on one.
Okay, I have a friend who's a Spanish speaker. The couple that I was talking about earlier, Josh and Karen.
Yep.
She is from Costa Rica. Now they're on our power team. So.
Gotcha.
And she goes door knocking with me too. So.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
on
you
weekends.
said power team there. So I know previously we had talked about you have bird dogs that go out and kind of door knock for you, and that's
Yes.
something you're wanting to grow. Kind of how does that work, and how do you leverage that in your business and compensate those bird dogs for door knocking for you?
Okay, so what we do is they ride along with me door knocking. I teach them what to say when they get to the door, all the objections on what to say. I give them scripts to use. And then, so in the beginning, we kind of do it in steps. So in the beginning, they don't know how to get a contract signed, but I'm like, you need to get out there on your own because it doesn't benefit them anyway if they keep riding along with me. So I'm
Right.
like, go out there. We provide them the list. They go out there, they door knock it, they set an appointment. We go on the appointment. So we pay them in the beginning. We pay them $100 for every appointment they set, $100 for if a contract is signed, and then 10% of the profit. So, but we eventually want them to get on their own where they're getting the contract signed themselves. They know how to run comps, they know how to do everything. And then at that point, we split it 50-50 because they're actually bringing enough value to split it 50-50.
So it's almost like they have like a internship with your
Yes.
company where they build up to where it's like, hey, you actually have equity in these deals as long as you like stick with the program.
Right.
You're going to get equity in it. That's a pretty cool
Yeah.
program. Matt Smith says, how many days before foreclosure do you focus on? Is it 30 days, 60 days?
Well, I mean, I door knock them as soon as they hit the list.
Right.
So they usually hit the list on the, like say it's the next auction is February 5th.
Right.
So they come out the 20th of January.
Right.
Yes.
So
Or no, December.
December? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 30 days. Yeah, they only get like a 30. The banks legally have to give them a 21-day notice.
There you go.
So the full list is out 21 days before the auction date.
Okay. So Dustin says, are you pretty straightforward to why you're at their door, or do you try to be sympathetic and approach the situation softly?
Well, I mentioned earlier, but I'll say it again. My
Yep.
script is, hi, my name's Ashton Richardson. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this house is on the list of houses going to foreclosure February 5th. I specialize in helping people stop foreclosure. Has anyone gone over your options with you?
Gotcha. So at that point in time, though, say you're, if you were to do that with me, if I say, okay, give me my options,
Yeah.
I mean, do you kind of have, let's take it a step further, because it's probably easier for you to do that.
Okay.
But like for your bird dogs, if they hit them with that script and they say, okay, tell me my options, do you kind of have a script for your bird dogs that goes further down on the questions that they're going to receive, or is it more like we would just like to schedule an appointment?
We usually just have them schedule an appointment. If they don't know enough, if they don't feel comfortable enough to go over all their options, they can say, you know, well, I'm still in the learning process. How about we set an appointment? I can have my mentors come and we can all sit down and we can go over your options. That way we can.
Because that's like one of the biggest issues for us with cold calling.
Yeah.
Is we cold call them and it's almost the same thing. I mean, once you get in front of them, you're kind of saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, tell me how much you're willing to offer. And it was like, that's always been an issue of, well, that's a whole nother level of how you manage that situation, you know? So I like what you have them say there, like, let my mentor come in and that's when we'll break it down.
Yes.
The man, Bryce McKinley, says, door knocking intro for any situation. Hey there, my partner and I are buying a few homes in the neighborhood and need a couple more. If I made a fair offer that makes sense, would you sell me your house today? So yeah, I think that's a great intro. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of like specifically break it down and explain to them what you're looking to do. I love your script that you have there. I think it's very straightforward, to the point. And you're also, because you're so targeted on your list, you're breaking it down to not do you want to sell, but I know your problem and I'm here to solve that problem.
Yes, yeah. Because I think if I show up to their house as in, hey, I want to buy your house,
Right.
like they're automatically going to shut me down.
Right.
Unless they really want to sell. Most people don't want to sell. So if I just show up, hey, I want to buy your house, they're going to shut me out.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times these people are in a situation where, you're right, they don't want to sell. They might have to sell.
Right.
But there could be other options out there that could help them. You being a realtor and some of the other things that you brought up are options that you present to them. And I think that's so important. We had an episode on here with Jamie Woolley where the title was, Don't Buy Houses, Solve Problems. And that was what it was all based around, was don't beat people over the head with, I'll give you a cash offer.
Yes.
That's not always what they want. And it's like you said, how many times have you walked in and said, well, I've received a cash offer, but it wasn't enough?
Right. Oh, yeah.
You
That's
know.
happened quite a few times.
And, you know, it's just, as an investor, our job is to solve the problem.
Yes.
And sometimes, I mean, there's even ways to where, I mean, you can get super creative where you can even like buy the house and sell it back to them and owner finance it to them, and all kinds of different ways. You know, we've gotten pretty creative with the different stuff that we've been able to do. That's because by asking questions.
Yes.
And that you feel like when you are at the door the first time, you get all of the information to then go back to your office to create all of those action plans, right?
Yes.
Is there a specific way that you present them? Like, do you have a presentation folder or anything like that, or do you kind of just lay it out there? 'Cause I
No.
know when we offer like subject to, it can get a little bit confusing.
Yeah. No, whenever we initially sit down, I first have them do a walkthrough of the property so I can see what the condition is, and then after that we sit down and, you know, I say, hey, you know, I need will you give me a better understanding of where you're at financially, you know, tell me how you got in this situation.
Right.
You know, and then you just ask them questions like that.
Gotcha. Let's talk about, real quick, to just wrap up. I know you guys do a lot of different strategies. You talked about earlier that part of your network brought private money on any deals that you're doing that you're taking down yourself? Is that how you're doing it? Is private money,
Yes.
or do you use any hard money at all?
No, we just use private money lenders.
Gotcha. And is that included in your owner finances and rentals as well, or just the fix and flips?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, we've had to put our own money. We have our own money in properties now.
Right.
But yeah, everything. Just private money lenders are cheaper than hard
Yes, they
money
are.
lenders.
Well, and it's also just a lot easier to use. You know, I
Yes.
mean, as much as I love some of the hard money lenders that I use, they still are companies. They still have protocols that they have to go through.
Yes.
It's a lot easier to just call up,
Yeah.
not a buddy, but somebody that you've done business with that you love and trust, and you can just say, hey, here's the deal,
Yeah.
wire X amount of dollars, title, and move on.
Yes.
So for everybody that's watched today and they loved what you've said, what's the best way they can reach out, contact you, or even do business with you?
Well, my Facebook page is, I'll give you my, well, I don't know if I want to give you my phone number. Just reach out to me. Ashton Richardson is my Facebook page.
What's your company name?
Illuminating Home Solutions.
There you go. And any final thoughts for our listeners today? Just get out there and door knock.
Just get out there and door knock. I think the biggest mistake is not doing it. Action is everything. You have to do it. You can sit there and analyze every reason why not to get out there. And you know, just for example, the safety, and let me tell you, every bird dog that I've had, the first time I took them out said, "Oh, that's not that bad." They
Right.
come up with don't come up with all these imaginations of all these horrible things happening, because yeah, it doesn't.
Gotcha. All right, real quick before we jump off, one last question. Phil Moe says, any laws that govern what you can say or not say to pre-foreclosure?
Not a lawyer.
Yeah. We're not
Yes,
giving advice, any legal advice right now. She's
Yes.
just simply responding to the question.
Yes.
Is there anything you can or can't say to a pre-foreclosure?
Well, I can't. I have to tell them I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
That's about it.
I mean, you have to tell them you're a realtor, right?
Yes.
Outside of that, there's pretty much, that's it.
Yes.
Looks like Mr. Harper has one more for us. Lynette Jones, thank you so much, y'all. I'll be door knocking this week. That's awesome. That's what we do this for. We do this to see you guys take action. Like Ashton said, you've been doing this a year and a half, and now people literally call you the door knocking queen.
Yes.
That's awesome. Get out there, take action. Ashton gave some great advice today on door knocking and how they've been able to implement that in their business. So I really hope everybody took that to heart and takes action on that. Also, guys, remember, without Propelio, this is not possible. Check out Propelio.com, lead list that you can use to go door knocking, MLS comps, so you don't have to wait on a realtor to pull them for you. You can have that information readily available for you at your fingertips. And also, we have the DFW REI meetup, the Propelio meetup, coming up on February 12th. And then also, Propelio is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, February 6th, 7th, and 8th. They've got the mixer, a mastermind, and something else. 3 different events in Phoenix. So if you're in Phoenix, please check those out. And also, our company, Titanium Investments. If you are buying or selling houses anywhere in the country, please reach out to me. I have boots on the ground everywhere. Love to do business with you guys. That's our show today, guys. Tune in tomorrow for Grant Teach Me Something, Iron Heels on Thursday, and then the Heels Off. And do we have Quest this week on Friday? Quest on Friday. That's our show, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you, Ashton.
Thank you.
Woo!
And we're almost there. Almost. Almost. Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan with Propelio. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. turn on those notifications and stick around for more. We have tons of content like this all over our channel. So if you want to learn more about real estate investing, stick around, watch Propelio TV, and we'll see you later.